Hey folks, so buckle up because we're going to be taking a bus ride through Tallinn. The first stop was the open air museum. Think of it as a little time machine with old buildings, but without the scary sci-fi vibes, I guess. We also swing by the Arvo Pärt. I'm not saying that right, but the music hall. Yeah, it's named after Arvo Pärt. It's fancy, it's cool, and it has a vibe that says, stay a while, enjoy the tunes. Now, we were kind of pumped up to visit this old Soviet weapons and nuclear site, but the thing is, we were late, and by the time we got there, it was pitch black, so instead of cool, Cold War vibes, we got a horror movie set. It was set back into the woods, out of the way. There was nothing around. So yeah, the footage, well, if you want to say that, it's more Blair Witch Project and History Channel. But hey, it's all about the adventure, right? So stick around and have a laugh, maybe, and let's explore Tallinn, in our own chaotic way. Hotel.
Made the maintenance of the monument dependent on this one Czech company who provided this glass structure. So there was a lot of opposition to this, but in the end this design was selected anyway, and it was done. And in the darkness, if you haven't seen it, come to the Freedom Square in the dark. It's quite nice when it lights up in the dark. See on jah nagu
väga tihe liiklus on see.
On küll.
See tee on korras.
Ta võiks küll olla parem jah, selles mõttes natuke.
Veeri on see, mis Väänast läheb sinna Utermaale. Täpselt samasugune. Kolmanda kategooria.
Ja, on küll jah.
The four, like the east, the west, and the north and the south of the country, and the islands as well. And they're original, so they've been taken apart, and the original location log by log numbered and photographed and everything, and then loaded on trucks and brought here and built up again. So some of the buildings there are built up like, let's say, like farmsteads or like one family farms. Maybe not all the buildings are originally from the same farm, because it was, by the time they started putting together the museum, the life has changed. In the 50s, nobody was living in these types of old farmhouses anymore, and by chance, some of them had been preserved. But they are authentic, and this is also they are showing us different times. So the life as it was in the early 19th century, which is this time, for example, and it's also kind of darkened.
I'm scared.
Exactly, yeah. This time of the year, you never know. Some evil spirits might be. Oh, it's a bit of an obstacle.
How come they are so low thrusts?
Careful, careful.
Oh, really? I don't think so.
Careful.
Yeah. Yeah, you do need to be very careful there. You can notice how it's actually like a double door and like a sliding door inside, because the whole idea is to keep the warm air inside as much as possible. So if you open the first door, then you close it, and to avoid all the wind or whatever, too much cold getting out. And of course the floor, it's a stone floor, could have also been a dirt floor. So this very sort of old, like Middle Ages people would live like this, until 19th century people would live like this. It's not the warmest. Opposite to the right-hand side, there were a lot of reeds growing there as well. The season to cut them is in the winter when it's frozen, because they kind of grow like in the mud or like all that sort of water in the summer, and so you cut them in the winter and then you store them. And limestone basically. And like Western Estonia, for example, Northern Estonia, where we are, and Western Estonia is where this one comes from, it's all sitting on top of limestone. So, you know, the
Nothing in there. Not much water.
That's very shallow.
Yeah. No spot for that phone to fall out there.
You're gonna have to crawl down and get it. It's gonna be a good video.
Try, but
you're not cold?
He likes the polar. It's good as a polar bear.
Wow. What happened to you then?
I don't know, because I am not that.
Yeah, it's like me and my kid, it's the same. Well, I mean, my daughter, now that she's almost 18, she's not so... Like, I used to say that she was like a seal. Like, she would go into, like, swimming, and as you do in the Baltics in the summer, she would stay there for like 40 minutes, 1 hour, in the water, turning blue, like, slightly. Like, no, I'm not cold. And she never got sick, so I mean, she was not so good.
I think it's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, but to a point.
Yes.
But as a parent, you're like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
worried.
Yeah. When the fin starts changing colors.
Yeah, like the lips turn purple. Let's get in here. Although it's not closed, it's not open. I mean, the building is closed, but we can just walk through. And we are still in the west of the country, so this is the kind of
The baby.
the season is so lovely now with all the colors. Finally, because it was a very warm September actually this year, so the leaves didn't start to turn until just now. And we haven't had like frost yet, which is unusual actually, because some years, you know, in September you get like the first frost, and then after the first frost the leaves they turn really green. Something happens to the chlorophyll, you know, the green thing. So at 0 or under 0 degrees it starts to, I don't know, decompose, whatever. And the horse, actually there's 2 horses. One of them works, the other has a day off, and then they change. If it was July, there would be a lot of bluebirds.
Okay.
These little shrubs,
Yes.
they're all bluebirds.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
There's a lot of people, actually, there's a lot of local people. Local people, families love coming here as well. Because it's open all year round. And today is a weekend, plus the next week is going to be school holidays.
Okay.
So the people, the families that are not traveling, they are probably looking for, you know, activities to do something with the kids. So quite a few. Oh, we are too quick. This is a mixed group, I understand. That you come from different parts of the states. Yeah.
Unless from Canada.
Oh, are you? Actually, this is a forge.
Okay.
As we, yeah, I was just about to say. Sometimes, like in the case of this farm, it was the owner himself who just had a little smithy, and so he wasn't only, you know, a blacksmith. He was a farmer who had a smithy. But there were also like blacksmiths, like specialized blacksmiths. So we have moved to the north now. You can see the dot is on the northern side. Half of it is ours, half of it is Russian. It's on the border. It's called Lake Pfeiffer. These are islands, so that's it's a little lake. Actually, it's not a little lake. It's the fourth biggest natural lake in Europe. But yeah, so we're on the northern side of Tallinn here, so we are. This house is from like halfway to the border. That's so cute. Yeah, so our independence was 1918.
Yeah, they had some kind of.
Yeah, and foreigners, right? So Middle Ages we had the Crusades, and then Germans came in and became like the sort of local elite. So everything, the wealth, the power was concentrated in the hands of foreigners for a long, long time. Like the serfdom that I was telling you, serfdom was abolished. So on the landlords they were German. So it wasn't like Estonians keeping other Estonians in serfdom. No, it was like Germans keeping Estonians in serfdom. And then after that, it was abolished. There was a movement towards forming a nation. Okay, come in quickly, and the last one can close the door because we want to keep it as nice and warm.
Close the door when you come in.
Yeah, we don't want to keep the door open more than necessary. Really nice and warm. Yeah, you can take a look around. If there's no rope, you can go in there. If there is a rope, do not break the rope. No. No, actually, this is the one thing that was not. Like 1910, they built houses without a restroom. There was an outhouse.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. So this is the more modern, let's say like the master bedroom, where you see like 1930s, nice furniture. So the period that the house is now set out to show us is like the independence era, like the 1930s, like before World War II. And the wallpapers are really actually very nice, unique, because they were designed when this building was brought over to the museum. They, of course, when they got it, it had been changed a bit, and to restore it back to the 1930s style, to recreate that era, they ordered special wallpapers. So it's all very rare to don't see much difference.
Go ahead.
And the family still has it, so they can they got that technology.
Limestone wall.
Look at your sofa's here, isn't it? Linda has one of those too, of those at home. The green sofa.
Yeah.
It's even green. Who would have thought? Let's figure out how to get through here.
then to take the other bucket out, that's like even the worst thing for me. Like I always hated it as a child. Because in their summer house, like Estonians mostly have a summer house somewhere, most communists. We have it on the Saaremaa Island, on the furthest western corner. And of course it's got, you know, a well, and it's got a sauna, and it's all very, you know, it's got a tank full of water for the sauna, and then you were just hauling bucket after bucket, and you know, we're not cut out for that kind of life anymore. I think we have, our race is really declining. Summer house, we had one of those, same as here, right next to the door, like right at the entrance. And it was and sometimes like my mum would pick like flowers from the garden and like bouquets if there was somebody's birthday or you had to go visit some, and she would add a touch of asparagus, just like, you know, like this fluffy green. So, of course, the season is drawing to a close. As I say, the coastline is not like a straight line, really. It's like the start of another peninsula, and that what we're looking at is another peninsula, and then on the eastern side there's one more, and then, you know, it's just kind of like finger sticking out.
What did you say the name of the bay was?
Hopley. Hopley with a K. Hopley. Because that peninsula that we're looking at is the Hopley Peninsula. And of course there's a windmill here, a typical Estonian windmill, which is, well, it's missing the cloth that should be covering the plates, because honestly, like this, it wouldn't do much, because it's, you know, the air would just, the wind would blow it right through. But this is it's just a mill. It's not like a house and a mill. This is just a
We tripped you up from
yeah, it's functions as like an auxiliary chapel or something to the Jaani parish that's located in the city center, and on the Freedom Square actually there's a big yellow church, the Jaani church, and so a few times a year the pastor from Jaani church comes here and holds a service. So this is a functioning facility. But of course, if you want to attend that service, you have to take the museum, get the ticket and get into the museum. Yeah, but they did it in the Soviet era, where they brought the chapel here. They didn't do it because communist regime was like, no to religion. Yeah. And it's on the western side, but it's a very specific area on the coast. Remember,
Really? Why?
Now, another building which is not open, but this is not open. Go somewhere else and then brought here. Taken apart and then brought over to the museum and built up again. And so until the Estonian yeah, like a cellar that was like
With the camera?
yeah, because the tower, but there's a bell and there's a cross, and so it's, yeah. Kind of the first thing people something to
It's red.
yeah, but no. No, yeah, in Estonia we don't have it. Because, automatically you think, okay, they see, the smoke from the... But the main thing was, because they're really long. And so imagine where you're going to hang them.
This is beautiful.
Schoolhouse.
Do we have a real one?
So here we have the teacher's apartment, so to say, the teacher's house, and then there's a classroom there. So they would have, it was a primary school, so it means that there were different, students from different grades, they were sharing the same classroom. It's very typical. They did in America too. Very, very typical in the old.
I don't know, I just see you put into some on the doors.
Are you with group?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, exposition starts upstairs.
Well, it's
It's
upstairs.
uudistab will be see last one. It is up the pipeline.
So 60s on the right. Sands on the left. Okay, so this is first. Mudroom.
Next to your new kitchen.
Where's
More asparagus.
oh the tiny beds?
There's no
Oh
mattress.
no. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, another one up there.
Yeah, that's cool.
1960s Russian apartment. This one's the
Maybe that's what you would be using it for. And here it goes. There's a hot water tank right there. There's a hot water tank, and here's a shower. Oh, yeah.
Pretty nice place. This would be 2819, I think they said.
Or also drove up. It's also often they just drive down the cliff on their cars, in their cars.
Really?
Yeah. So instead of jumping, yeah. It's been happening all the time. Yeah. It's not, at least in the 90s, and yeah. I don't know in Soviet times because I don't have information about that. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Just good memory. It's a center that was dedicated to our most famous composer and probably the most famous living Estonian, Arvo Pärt, who has been for many years already the most performed living classical composer. So according to this website Bachtrack, that tracks the performances of classical composers, his music has been performed the most in the world for the last 10 years. There was a little break when I think American John Adams, not the president but the modern composer, was on the first place. And Arvo Pärt was on the second, but now he has been for the last 2 years back at the first place. And he's, well, we can say he's quite old already, so he, in September, he celebrated his 89th. It's also to kind of show those people that the composer has had the closest collaboration with over the decades. So these are mostly people from the world of music, with whom he has collaborated during his 70 years in music now. And many people just mentioned a few of them. Another Estonian composer, Heino Eller, who was his teacher. Then we have some conductors here, but from the conductors I want to point out Neeme Järvi, because Neeme Järvi is a world famous Estonian conductor who also worked for many, many years in the United States, and he also has, I think to the present day, he has a second home in Florida maybe, or in California, I don't remember even. But he was working in Cleveland for a few years. So welcome to my kingdom. This is the library, and my primary function in this center, as this is my place of employment, is I work as a librarian here. I have also other functions. I'm also the room rental manager, I'm one of the tour guides, I'm one of the translators, so I do many things here at the center. And I've been here for 7 years, so I came 1 year before this building was completed and open to the public. From the staff entrance to somewhere approximately here, and he's a very deeply religious person. He's part of the church that is relatively little known in the West. So he's a member of the Eastern Orthodox Church, of the Russian Orthodox Church. Why we have a little chapel here at the center. So this concrete building that you see out here.
Sure brought your gazebo.
Oh, I got it here, but it's starting to get
No. Yeah, if you're back.
Yeah. They actually there is also this tradition, which is primarily a Russian tradition, that when they have a wedding, they usually take this big padlock and they lock it on some bridge rail or somewhere, so it's like to symbolize the everlasting law that it cannot be broken. But and I'm not sure if now all those marriages over the decades that had been formed, if they now ended in divorce because the padlocks were broken. Across the manor house, as you can see over now, the yellow building. Come here like once a year or so.
Old Russian nuclear site.
So basically, at least you can see something of it. For now, these used to be the buildings where they did the maintenance for the missiles, and where they also, when they brought in the new missiles and removed.
Careful. Careful, guys. I'll let you know if you're in.
I can actually find it out for you. And then maybe no change. But this was one of the largest sites because it's we have seen only. So those who are interested, just to tell you, we have only seen